So this section talks about the unit circle, and you're just kind of given the unit circle in your textbook. You're never actually shown, like, where did that come from? So this video is going to go through the unit circle. We're going to talk about radians. So the radians is a different measure for an angle. So we're really used to degrees. We want to write everything in radians now. It's a different way to measure angles. When you get into calculus, if you get into calculus, a lot of your work will be in radians. But if you take the measure of the radius, it's like you take it and you take that length around the edge of the circle, and that helps us create the angle for radians. Okay, so we're going to go back and forth, radians to degrees, degrees to radians, and we have these multipliers. So first, on our circle, I just want to go through degrees because we're really familiar with that. So this is 0 degrees. This line is 30 degrees. And then I'm going to skip. I'm going to go around in 30s first. So 30 plus 30, 60. 60 plus 30, 90. 90 plus 30, 120. 120 plus 30, 150. And then look, we went halfway around, we're at 180. Let's just keep going. 180 plus 30 is 210. Plus 30, 240. 3/4 around a circle is 270. Plus 30 is 300. 330. All the way around a circle is 360, right? Okay, so we're going to do that. Go around in 30s, and then we're going to go around in 45s. So 0, 45. 45 plus 45 is 90. 90 plus 45 is 135. 135 plus 45 is 180. Plus 45 is 225. Plus 45 is 270. Plus 45 again is 315. Plus 45 again is 360. All right, degrees around a circle. Good. We're going to change all those degrees to radians, but I'm only going to do that in the first quadrant. That's this part. And the rest we'll be able to figure out by ourselves. So let's start with our 30s. I have 30 degrees. Change that to radians. I multiply by pi over 180. So that is 30 pi over 180. And in radians, we always have pi included. So let me go there and calculate it. 30 over 180 reduces to 1 over 6. So this would be 1 pi over 6, or just pi over 6. So 30 is equivalent to pi 6 radians. So I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. Okay, this is 1 pi 6, 2 pi 6. This reduces to pi thirds. 2 divided by 6 is 1 pi third. Okay, 2 pi 6. 3 pi 6, which reduces to pi halves. And we're just going to count all the way around, okay? 4 pi 6. That reduces to 2 pi thirds. 5 pi 6 cannot be reduced. 6 pi 6 reduces to just pi. 7 pi 6 cannot be reduced. 8 pi 6 reduces to 4 pi over 3. 9 pi 6 reduces to 3 pi halves. 10 pi 6. I'm trying to do them in my head. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, and then 11 pi 6 does not reduce. 12 pi 6 reduces to 2 pi. So once we know pi 6, we can just count all the way around, right? Okay, so now I'm going to do the exact same thing with 45 degrees with our pi. Well, I'm not going to tell you what it is. 45 degrees to radians, I would take 45 times pi over 180. So I have 45 pi over 180. But I'm just going to reduce 45 over 180, which is 1/4. So that is actually pi force, 45 degrees. Okay, so that's 1 pi force, 2 pi force, which reduces to pi halves, 3 pi force, 4 pi force, going every 45 degrees, reduces to pi. My next 45 right here, 5 pi force. My next 45's here, 6 pi force, which reduces to 3 pi halves, and then 7 pi force. All the way around is 8 pi force, which reduces to 2 pi. So what did we just do? Oh my goodness. We just found the radians all the way around a circle. And this is called the unit circle. Okay? So the next part of your assignment asks you to look at the points of a unit circle. Okay, so this is 0 degrees and 360, and then this is 30, 45, 60, 90. Dang it, I should have just had this copied. Well, I'll just do it again. 120, 150, 180, 210, I'm adding 30, 240, 270, 300, 330. And then you would do 45. So 45, 90, 135, 180, 225, 270, plus 45 is 3. Okay, and then this other line is for a radian. So pi thirds, pi sixths. It's a smaller one first. So pi sixths, I should have had this all together, pi thirds. And then you can count all the way around. So this is pi halves, 3 pi halves, 2 pi, and then you can count the rest of them. So 1 pi 6, 2 pi 6, 3 pi 6, 4 pi 6. Sorry, I feel like I'm doing this all over again. 2 pi thirds. See, I don't have the rest of them memorized. Only like that. Once you know the first quadrant, like there's no reason to memorize the rest because you can always count around if you need to. So if you look in the textbook of online, it'll give you just a full unit circle. But sometimes, like, what does that mean, right? So that's why I wanted to go through. 1 pi 4s, 2 pi 4s, 3 pi 4s, 4 pi 4s, 5 pi 4s, 6 pi 4s, 7 pi 4s. Okay, so this other part, there's points. So we're used to points on a coordinate plane where we have x and y. So our points on a circle respond to cosine and sine. So x is cosine and y is sine. So every time you see an x point, that refers to a cosine value. So let's fill in these points. The unit circle always starts with a radius of 1. So we go over 1 and not up 0. Or just not up or down. But to get the rest of these points, we use special triangles. So like I would draw a triangle right here, which I'm just going to bring down here. So I have a triangle here where it's a right triangle, and this is 1, so I'm going over 1, and this is 30. And it's a point. I want to know how much I'm going up and over, right? So I need to know this value, and we can use trigonometry to find that. So this is the opposite side, and this is the adjacent side, right? So sine of 30, not sine, opposite and adjacent, tangent. So tangent of 30 is x over 1 times by 1 on both sides. I don't need to do that. It's just tangent of 30, which is, so I'm just going to redraw this right triangle down here where we know that angle's 30, right? So here's my triangle. This is a 30-degree angle. And I'm looking for a point right here. So how much am I going over and up? That's an XY point. It's not, but look, this whole line is 1. You go over 1, and that line goes up here as well. You see that? It's the same line. So this is 1. And we're going to use trig to kind of figure out what the other values are. So let's start with this would be x and this would be y. So we have hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. So let's start with sine is O over h. So sine of 30 is y. And then we do the same thing. Cosine of 30 would be x over h, or just cosine of 30 is x. So let's find those values. Sine of 30, is 0.5 or 1/2. Cosine of 30 is a number that we don't recognize. So we're going to have to do some extra work on that one. So y is 1/2. Okay, so because we want an exact number, we're going to have to use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I have x squared plus 1/2 squared equals 1 squared. So you would minus 1/2 squared on both sides. 1 squared minus 1/2 squared is, I have to put it in parentheses, it's 3/4, okay? And then we would square root both sides. So that's square root of 3, and then the square root of 4 is 2. So this point is square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2, xy. And then we would make a triangle for x to the 4th, and we would make a triangle for x to the third. And this point is 0, 1. So I'm just going to jump over to where we have the unit circle in your notes. So see, we just made a triangle and found those points. If we did another triangle, pi force would be square root of 2 over 2. And then pi 6 would be, those just switch, 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. And then for the rest, you just get to mirror the points. So over here, this line to this line, all that changes is now the x value is negative, but the y value is still positive. Same. Mirror the point over, x value is negative, y value stays the same. Same. X value is negative, y value stays the same. And we would mirror it all the way across. In this quadrant, everything's negative, right? So we would bring this one down here, negative square root of 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Negative square root of 2 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2. Negative 1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. And then on this quadrant, the x is negative, and the y, oh no, the x is positive, so square root of 3 over 2, and this time y is negative. Sorry, I had to think about that. Square root of 2 over 2, and then 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. And then these points, we can just go back 1, no up or down, go down 1. And then, remember, x or cosine is x, sine is y. And that'll help us do our next set of problems.